Okay, good morning to you all once again. Today's lectures is going to focus on job design and how it can be done strategically. So it's been titled as Design and Redesign of Work Systems. By the end of this lecture, we are expected to cover a number of things, which include the individual and organizational factors which influence the design of a particular job. So when we think about designing a work environment or a workspace for individuals to interact and to facilitate the work processes in an organization, what are some of the considerations that we factor into? Again, you are also expected to gain an appreciation of the need to fit between individuals and jobs and how such fit can be achieved. So why is it important for you to address a fit between the needs of individuals as well as that of the job? And when there is a misfit, what are some of the negative repercussions? We will also consider the reasons why organizations may decide to outsource or embark on some form of offshoring, its pros and cons, and which I believe we delve deeper into under international HR. So today's class is just going to measure on the strategic component which needs to be appreciated. We also gain an appreciation of the role of HR in mergers and acquisition, which again, we did it last semester in my international HR class. The class will end with an assignment. So your first assignment will be to discuss the impact that technology is having on the design of jobs or work systems. Later on, I'll give you the details of this assignment, what I'm expecting from you. So let's begin. Because the class is going to be on how jobs can be designed. Jobs are designed not in a vacuum. They are designed within a framework that we conceptualize as a work system. So it is important for us to, first of all, understand what work systems are. A work system can be generally described as a set of interrelated components or elements that work together to achieve a common goal or purpose within an organizational context. So any arrangements which are made to ensure that the various units or departments in an organization and within such units are able to coordinate and relate with each other such that the work processes is not truncated can be conceptualized as a work system. And it is also called a system because it is composed of several parts, of which each part is required to play an important role for the totality of the organization to flourish. So this implies that if any aspects or components of this work system fails to contribute its quota, then the system will fail as a whole. Because what usually happens is that the output of one component becomes the input of another component. And very soon we'll be looking at some of these typologies that are found within a work system. You realize that the output of one department or unit becomes the input of another, particularly when we are talking about a relay or assembly line system, whereby such work processes are utilized to put together several components. For instance, in the manufacturing of a car or in the manufacturing of an electronic device, such as television, you realize each of the components are completed by specialized workforce within an organization. And it is only when each of these aspects do their work diligently that in the end, we are able to have a well-composed and completed output. So that is what we mean by a system having varied components or interrelated parts. The concept of a work system is often used in the field of system thinking and organizational theory to characterize and understand, or if you like, analyze the complex interaction within the work environment. So if you pick any notable organization and you decide to understand their work processes, you can visualize it in a systemic manner, in the sense that each department specializes in the performance of a unique function. And the successful execution of this area of specialization helps other departments to also attain their goal. And together, when these concerted efforts are put together, you are able to achieve the desired goal of the organization. And that is what we mean by work system being analyzed in a system thinking or organizational theory perspective, which I believe you did thoroughly in your organizational theory and design class. So today's class is just going to add another layer to what you learned last semester. So what are the constituents of a work system? Typically, it is composed of 5 interrelated or intertwined components. These include the people that work within the system, the processes that gets work done, the technology that is utilized to get the work done in an efficient and effective manner, the work environment or the framework within which they operate, and the information which is transmitted and communicated within the work environment. So any generic work system which aspires to attain a particular goal is composed of 5 interrelated parts. The people aspect or the people component of any work system are the individuals that are involved in the work system, including the employees, the managers, and other stakeholders. Depending on the goal that they are trying to attain, it may be essentially, you can break them to the line staff, the line workforce and the staff workforce. But irrespective of how you look at it, they're essentially employees, some of which may be occupying higher positions and lower positions. And there may be other stakeholders, such as investors, the creditors, the customers, who all want the well-being of the firm to flourish so that their aspirations can also be attained. So these are the people that are composed of the work system. And without these people doing their part, such as the employees or managers doing their part, the system will struggle to flourish because they need to contribute their quota for the other parts to also take hold. The second aspect or component of a work system is the processes. So when we talk about the processes, we are referring to the varied activities or tasks that are performed to achieve the set objectives of the system. So every system is goal-directed or goal-driven. And in order to attain the goal, you will need to put in place certain procedures and lay down some paths that have to be laid down, milestones that need to be attained. And the pursuits or activities that result in the attainment of these set objectives is referred to as the processes. So these processes can be a formalized procedure or an informal way of getting things done, depending on the structure that you are dealing with. Typically, it is the formal procedures and arrangements within which we expect to get things done. But as Chester Barnard made us aware in organizational theory, you could also have informal organizations in formal organizations. And some of these informal organizations may end up channeling information which turn out to be grapevines or rumors. And so the processes of getting work done in an organization can be done through formalized or informal procedures. Then the technological components, which also designates the tools, equipments, know-how, or some form of innovation which are used to support and facilitate the work processes. Having a formalized or informal procedures available is necessary, but not sufficient. You will require some amount of work resources, which can be visualized or perceived to be a tool or equipment that are required to get the work done. And these tools or equipments may take the form of a software, a machine, a car, a computer, or any other relevant form of technology. Now, the unavailability of these technological resources will also render the work system dysfunctional, because it will cause the employees and other stakeholders to struggle in the pursuit of their goals. So it is important for this component also be made available. The fourth component is also composed of the environment, which includes the external factors and conditions that influence the work system, such as economic, social, cultural, and regulatory factors. So anything that surrounds the organizational premises, but which also has the likelihood to influence internal happenings and processes within the organization, can be construed as its environment. So if the economy is booming, then it can incentivize banks to lend out loans to or business organizations to expand or pursue any vision that they intend to attain. In the same vein, if the economy is struggling, then business organizations will be slapped with cutting-throat taxations and other forms of statutory payments, which may also force them to cut down their internal spending in terms of remuneration and other forms of expenditure. And all these can stifle the pace with which the organization obtain or attain its set objectives. Now, the fifth component, which is also integral to the success of any prudent work system, is information. So to pursue any form of goal attainments in an organization through its people, processes, technology, and environment, you need relevant and important information. Therefore, the data and information flow within the work system can enable communication, decision-making, coordination, and control, such that the targets that have been set, members of the organization will not deviate from it. So if things are not going well, it is important for feedback to be transmitted. And if things are also progressing toward the right path, it is important for feedback to be communicated to sustain the good performance of the general workforce of the company. And all these take the form of information. And as I indicated earlier on, most often than not, in a typical organizational setting, the output of one department becomes the input of another department, or the output of one unit becomes the input of another. And so if there is no sort of transmission of information for the work processes to interrelates with the various components of the work system, then the work system will struggle to flourish. Now, in order for you to design a robust and well-functioning work system composed of its components, including the people, the processes, technology, environment, and information, there currently exists a model that can be utilized to inform how the work system is designed. Research suggests that any good work system can be properly designed when three factors are considered, which means that the design of a given work system needs to be informed by three main factors. And what are these factors? These factors are what I have illustrated in the model on your screen. So the design and implementation of any work system needs to be informed by three main factors, including what workers do. So what do you need this work system? What do the workers need this work system to do? Do they need it to build a car? Do they need it to run an educational institution? Do they need this work system to run a telecommunication organization? Do they need it to run an industrial enterprise? So what workers need the system to do will inform how you design it, so that in the end, the various components can interact or interrelate without any form of blockage or hurdles. The second factor or consideration is, what do workers need? What do workers need? So the first one was what workers are going to do. Second one is, what do they need? Then the third one is, how do you expect the various components or the various jobs within the system to interact? Based on your answers to these three considerations or factors, then you will be supplied with relevant information in mapping out or designing the work system. All right, so we are going to analyze in rich details how a work system can be designed on the basis of the three factors or considerations which I indicated to be primary in the design of any work system. And these include what's information on what the workers do or are going to do, what the workers need in order to flourish, and finally, how the jobs interface with each other within the organizational setting.